And you were saying that you had another urge to take another sniff of these smelling salts.
So I'm observing something interesting about the smelling salts. Like it's definitely like hits hard, and then you feel really good afterwards. You can feel it in your body. You can feel it in my body, and then I notice there's kind of a hunger for it.
Right, like another hit.
Yeah, like maybe in 20 minutes or so.
It's like a cocaine thing.
Oh, well,
allegedly.
I've never tried cocaine.
Me neither. Good for you.
But
that's what I hear.
Yeah, I wonder. I doubt that hits the dopamine circuit, but a little valuable science tidbit. We hear so much about dopamine, adrenaline. Look, there are 3 molecules. They're called the catecholamines: dopamine, epinephrine, adrenaline, and norepinephrine, noradrenaline. And they are actually some are biochemical derivatives of others, and they are cousins. They work like a little clan of molecules to raise alertness and focus and drive. I think the great Robert Sapolsky said it best. He said, dopamine is not about the pursuit of pleasure. It's about the pleasure of pursuit.
That makes sense.
And that's why he's Robert Sapolsky.
Yeah, it's all about the journey.
It's right. Yeah. So you combine motivation with adrenaline, which gets your body in a position to move better, and noradrenaline, which kind of works in between those two. It's a little more complicated, not worth going into. But they work as kind of like a gang of 3 to raise alertness, directional motivation, and go. And so I wouldn't be surprised if there was a little bit of a dopaminergic aspect to those smelling salts. I'd have to look it up and see. But I certainly like it. It feels good. It feels good.
Everybody likes it.
Yeah,
That's weird.
And I like, that's why I've never tried cocaine or amphetamine. Like I like upstates, as they call them.
Me too. Same thing. I've never tried Adderall either, but I've been tempted.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
People tell me about it. I'm like, Jesus.
I've never tried it.
Organized.
I'm trying to think of that. There's some, there was a chart out on Twitter. We were just talking about Twitter where all the different nootropics, or let's not call them smart drugs, but things that can enhance alertness, things like alpha GPC. As you know, 600 milligrams alpha GPC. I don't care who it is that's like, where's the double-blind placebo-controlled study that shows it raises alertness and focus? Look, as much as I believe in science, you don't need a double-blind placebo-controlled study to know that a swift kick in the shin hurts, and that 600 milligrams of alpha GPC is going to make you more alert. Is it safe?
Well, we did double-blind placebo-controlled studies for Alpha Brain.
Right. And so they exist, and certainly that's one that I would put kind of high on the tier of things for if you want alertness and focus. It's certainly more benign than a lot of prescription drugs that create alertness.
But theanine's also really effective for that too, and I don't know how many studies there are on that.
Not as many. Theanine takes away the jitters. Like 100 to 200 milligrams of theanine will take away the jitters associated with stimulants, which is why it's now in a lot of energy drinks. So you'll see alpha GPC, theanine, sometimes L-tyrosine, which is a precursor to dopamine. But there were a couple of things on that list, including prescription drugs like modafinil, for instance, which was originally designed for the treatment of narcolepsy.
Was it designed for that, or was it designed as a performance-enhancing drug, but they needed a way to prescribe it?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah. So for the treatment of narcolepsy, it also has been shown to improve alertness and cognitive function in sleep-deprived individuals. So you can imagine military finding that very useful.
So that's Nuvigilant, Provigil, right?
Correct.
I took that stuff for a while. I was taking it, and you know what I would really like to take it? Like, say if I had a gig in San Diego, and I was done with my gig at like 11 o'clock, I was like, I want to go home. I don't want to stay in a hotel. Fuck it. Let me drive home. And if I would drive home, there'd be that risk of the sleep coming on because of there's a weird thing about being on the highway, about those lines. They fucking hypnotize you.
Oh, yeah.
It's really weird.
Yeah. And
and so for anybody out here, listen to this, because my manager told me this. It's really important. If you think you're going to fall asleep, there's a great way to mitigate it that's pain-free. Get a rag, like a washcloth, and some ice and some water, and have like a little thing next to you with a cold, wet rag, and just wipe that rag on your face. And then you're good for like 5 more minutes. Reach in there and start, oh man, I'm just getting sleepy again. Wipe that rag on your face, you wake right up.
This is a great one.
Pain-free.
This is a great one, and it fits right in with what Matt Walker says to do the opposite to fall asleep. Will you wash your face with warm water, take a hot shower?
I go in the sauna.
Or go in the sauna. Everyone says, well, you're heating up your body. You need to cool down to fall asleep. But you heat up the surface of your body, and the medial preoptic area of your hypothalamus, which is your brain's thermostat, says, hey, the surface of the body is heating up. What should I do? Cool down my core temperature, and that puts you to sleep.
Would it be bad to do sauna and then cold plunge and then try to go to sleep?
I do that if I'm late in the day and I'm tired. It's not a problem, but I end with kind of a warmish shower. If I want to be alert, I end on cold. If I want to go to sleep, I end with warm.
Which is why I start the day with cold, to wake up.
And when you get in the cold, the surface of the body gets cold. That's kind of a no-brainer. And the core body temperature goes up because the medial preoptic area, your brain's thermostat, says, wait, the surface of the body is cooling down. I'm going to heat up. And waking up in the morning is largely the consequence of body temperature going up. So why do you wake up more quickly in the cold? Well, body temperature goes up more quickly. Also, big shot of adrenaline from cold water. Nobody escapes the adrenaline from cold water.
Right.
At least upon getting in, as long as it's cold enough. And last time you picked on me about how warm I'm keeping my ice bath. Can't even be called an ice bath. So my cold plunge is now set at mid 40s.
That's better.
Getting better. But I still go into the sauna at 210, 220.
By the way, I don't know if I'm right. I'm probably wrong. My wife she wants to get a second cold plunge because she doesn't like how cold mine is because mine has ice in it.
Yeah, you're probably in the 30s.
Yeah, it's 34. Yeah, it's fucking cold as shit.
It's beast mode kind of.
I've got a new one that I got from Morosco. We have two. So we have one here at the gym that's a blue cube. This one's insane because you can crank it and you turn up the knob and it'll be like a flowing, raging river.
Oh, well, and the flow breaks up the thermal layer on the outside of your body. When you're sitting in the cold plunge, I always say those stoic things where people are in the cold plunge, real still, looking tough. Tell that person to sift their arms around, let that cold water get in your armpits. Yeah. Well, what's happening is you're breaking up the thermal layer that keeps you a little bit warmer. This is why we huddle in there because it's not like you're making yourself, it's not like you're wearing a jacket. If you move or if the water is moving, much more effective.
It's painful for me to just check my watch to see how much time I got left.
It sucks.
Yeah, I have a system now. If I count slowly to 10 2 times, so I count to 20, and I know exactly how long my breath is for it to be 3 minutes. I know how to do it, so I do it now.
That's awesome.
It's a little cheating.
You know what I do?
Cheating.
Man, I can't believe I'm going to admit this publicly. You know what I do? I got 2 little rubber duckies in there. One's a tougher looking rubber ducky, and his name is Rogan. I'm not kidding. I shot a video of this. I'll send it to you. My producer's going to kill me. And then there's another one, and that's Huberman. And it's you basically teasing me about what a wuss I am. And I do that for the entire time I'm in the cold plunge. So I forget that I'm in the cold plunge. And then at the end you go, okay, you can get out now. And I'm like, okay.
Well, here's what it is. I don't know if the cold is if it's any better to be 34 degrees or if it's any better to be 45 degrees or 50 degrees. But what I do know is that I don't like 34 degrees. So that's why I do it. Because if I feel like I can get away with making it a little bit easier, I feel like a bitch. So that's why I do it as cold as it can get before it freezes solid, which seems to be 34 degrees.
Yeah. Well, this gets to something that I know we've talked a little bit about before offline, not on microphone, which is doing hard things translates to an ability to do hard things and probably translates, provided it doesn't kill you,